So hi everyone. So today we're going to discuss about dynamic tables in the Snowflake. Dynamic tables. So why we use dynamic tables? So is anybody having idea? So when we loading data into Snowflake, okay. So there is a requirement. So we have uh, source table. So the requirement is need to find out like sum of total sales or any transformation we need to do okay directly. We need to apply that on the source table. So for that, so we need to create a dynamic table on source tables. So this will give by default automatically directed transformation. So usually we have streams, right? So to capture the data, any update and or deleted records or any new inserts. So we have streams. But so to avoiding that, so now we have this dynamic table. So it's going to do automate ELT transformations. Okay. So without any manual refresh logic. Okay. So the source table going to insert data into the target table. Okay, so that is dynamic table. So with using dynamic table, so as the requirement are 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour 1 hour, so depend. Okay, so we can mention that time. So by default automatically it's going to refresh when source table have the so data. So that is a dynamic table. So it going to automatically track changes in the source data. Okay, so it going to keeps one thing first. So it tracks changes, okay, in source data. Okay, so keeps it up to date target table. So up to date target table based on the interval refresh we need to keep. So it going to support incremental refresh. Okay, so incremental. So refresh is going to support. Okay, then uses what it going to use? It's going to use the task. So based on the computing, in the back. Okay. So for the real time, what we going to for ELT pipelines. So we're going to apply the real ELT pipelines and materializations for the to simplify the materials of transformed views. So it's going to replace the so any manual insert or merge logic. Okay. So what it going to replace? Manual insert. No need to insert the so manually data and merge statement. So where we use merge statement, where we use merge statement, continuous continuous loading change in the meeting. Where we use merge statement, continuous load. Streams change data capture అప్పుడే మర్చిపోతేలా. So this one. Okay, so first what we're going to do, we're going to create one table. So we're going to create a dynamic table on this source table. Okay, so create. So I will open the Snowflake account. Then remain connect our please. Shaman, have you worked with dynamic tables?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So what are the topics you covered, Koteshwar?
Yeah, I have covered copy command and Snow SQL and Snow pipe.
Okay, so
And I have started with the SCD type 1 and type 2.
okay, fine. Okay. So this is the table. So create a replace table, sales raw table we are creating. So with ID int, amount, float, data types, region string, status string. So we have four columns. Okay, this sales raw. Okay, so we don't have any data. So we are inserting some data. Okay, so okay, this is okay. So id amount region status. Okay, these are okay, north south east west, and in status what we have completed and pending and failed. Okay. Okay, so this is amount and this is id. Okay, so now insert data. So now again select sales raw table, so we can see this data. Okay, we have four columns and 10 records. So now we going to create a dynamic table on source table. So usually first I will write what SQL query. Okay, is my voice is clear, right? Audible? Is there anything, any disturbance?
No, sir, your voice is audible.
Okay.
No, Madhu.
So first I'm doing selecting region. I'm selecting the region. Okay. So then in the table, so you can see the table, then you will get one idea. Okay. So select region. I'm selecting the region. Then I'm doing the sum of. Okay. కనెక్ట్ చేయి ఏమైంది సో unable to use wait once డిస్కనెక్ట్ చేసి మళ్ళీ కనెక్ట్ చేయి నెట్వర్క్ ఇష్యూ ఏం లేదు ఇక్కడ ఫైన్ 1 second guys connected logging out. Okay, so this is the region. Okay, so sum of amount. Okay, so this is amount column, right? Okay, we will give finding the so sum of amount. Okay, so this is alias name I'm giving as total sales. So total sales. So then next what we're doing from, so table name we are mentioning. Okay, sales. Okay, sorry, sales table. So we are doing a filtering. Okay, what we filtering? So where status, so is confirmed. Okay, or we go with complete. Okay, so we may be having different, okay, completed or successful or confirmed. Okay, like that. So we are going with completed. CO. So I am going to status. Okay, so where status equal completed, then I'm doing group by. So group by month. So by region. This is our SQL query. See, so I have first I'm selecting region. So then sum of amount. I'm finding the total sum of it is alias name total sales from sales. Okay. So what it will give? It will throw the error. Okay. Is not a valid group by expression, because if you remove this region, it's going to work. Suppose if I remove region, now I select this one to here, it will give the sum of total amount total sales. Okay, this one. So I'm giving the region. So if I give region, I need to use the group by region. Okay, so see, if I cut this one, so now if I run, it will be the region total sales group by. So north region, south region, east region, and west region. Okay, this is how you need to know. You need to make the when you are writing any query, you need to make the small partitions. Then only you will get the one idea. Okay, so then here what I'm writing, sum of amount, total sales, select region, sum of amount and total sales from sales raw. Okay, where status completed means, so we have status completed, right? So where it's completed, we need to do the sum of amount. So where status is completed. So region wise, here we done, right? So group by region wise. So I need region wise sum of amount. Okay. So for the where status is complete. So this is filtering. Okay. Filter where class and I'm using so group by. So this one. Now we can see the data region and total sales. So which is the complete. Suppose if I remove this where status is completed, so it will give, see, 4851, but it giving the entire all. So even there is pending, failed, okay, it giving those also. But I don't need those. I need only where status is completed or where pending is complete or fail is complete. Okay, or pending or fail, we can give anything. But now we are giving the where status is completed. Okay, so this is I'm finding. Okay, from this table. Okay, so this is how to create. We can write. We are doing some transformation. So every time we no need to run this query. Every time we no need to run this query. Okay, so for this one, what we need to create a dynamic table on the source table. Create or replace. Okay, so dynamic table. So I'm giving sales summary. So sales summary. So this is the dynamic table. Okay, create a replace dynamic table sales summary. So then here we need to mention. Okay, so target log. Target log equal to, so usually what will I'm mentioning, so 15 minutes. Okay, but now we no need to wait for the no need to wait for 15 minutes, so we will change to so 1 minute. Okay, so in real time as per requirement 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. Okay, so as per the data, so when the data when we are receiving yesterday Snowflake, so the ETL guy is going to push data into S3 bucket, right? So as the requirement we going to the so time. Okay, so 1 minute I given here. Okay, so then target log, this is the target log. So after for every 1 minute it going to run. See, so next go with, okay, warehouse. We need to mention the warehouse name. So what is our warehouse? So we are in the compute warehouse. So you can see here. Okay, so this is the compute warehouse. So compute warehouse. Is there small or not problem? So this is compute warehouse we need to. Then after that, what we need to use the as keyword. Okay. So which is the keyword as keyword. It means, so it's going to run enter this code. Okay, as per the requirement. Okay, so it's going to create a replace dynamic table. So sales summary. So on target log 1 minute. So for every 1 minute, okay, it's going to run this SQL query. Okay, so where it is in the compute warehouse, what I'm using compute warehouse. Why we using, so in the warehouse code, right, it's going to do everything, transformations. When we inserting data, it's going to load, right? So that's why, so we have different warehouses in real time, right? So you can choose any warehouse, not only this one, you can choose even Snowflake learning warehouse. Okay, Snowflake learning warehouse also can use, only compute. So you can use any warehouse. Okay, not only compute warehouse, you can use any warehouse. So this is Lakehouse. Then as statement SQL code. So now I am creating the dynamic table. This is the way creator is the dynamic table, table of target like 1 minute warehouse. So warehouse name as statement. So this is the transformation I am doing. Okay, SQL string. So now I am creating the dynamic. So dynamic table sales summary successfully created. Okay. So this is the query. Then next what we're going to do, see, select dot from this one, sales summary. So every time we no need to run the query by default for every minute it's going to run. Okay. So region wise again east, north, south, west. So we are getting details. Okay. So every time we no need to run this query. So we create a dynamic table and source table. So using target log and warehouse. Okay, for every minute you're going to run this statement. Okay, so automatically it's going to refresh. Okay, we no need to refresh manually. So refresh here. So select DB and schema. So we have tables, dynamic tables, and weaves we have. So this is the dynamic table. These are the so tables we have. Okay. So now what I'm doing. So for it going to be up to date. Up to date means now I'm having 430 270. Okay, and 1161 300. Right. These details I have. So now what I'm doing. Okay. Uh, I'm going to update the some data. Suppose I'm going to update. Okay. So I'm uploading the data. So it's a states table name. So it's the change this one. So update sales set status completed. So where ID in. So I'm changing. Okay. Where ID in. Okay, change. So 4 and 9. What is 3D? Change good. So okay, number of is updated. Okay, number of multi-chain was updated. So I'm getting 4 and 9. Okay, actually usually we have 4 is failed and 9 is failed. I am updating to the complete. So now select the table. So see 4 completed and 9 completed. Okay, then again now check the data. So check the sales summary. So now it's also updated, right? Okay, see 430 1161. So previously we have different values of OC. Okay, so take this one. So we have these details, right? So these are the values we have. Okay, so, so these are the values we have. Okay, 430 values. So now I'm updating this one. So now again check this one updated. So now check sales summary again. So now what you can see the changes, right? Copy this one. So 433 ended. Okay, 1127. Okay, 430, 161. Because I have updated right data. So by default, when we insert new data or any deleted any update, so it also going to update in the dynamic table. So it going to capture the data. So for every minute it going to run, not for the and what we have mentioned, we given 1 minute, right? It's going to run for every minute. Suppose if you have 15 minutes, it's going to run every 15 minutes. It's going to run this one. So automatically the data going to store in this dynamic table sales summary. Okay, this is the target table. So this is how to create dynamic table. Okay, so this is a new feature. If they ask in interview, okay, so in telecoms. Okay, yes, I have worked with dynamic tables. Okay. So even we can have some commands to show dynamic tables. So it will show the dynamic sales somewhere. Okay. And even it will show the see those bytes. Okay. So target lag 1 minute refresh mode incremental. So when the data is loaded to this one, it will show. Okay, this is the dynamic. So then we have iceberg tables, right? Okay, iceberg tables. So let's see. So we're not going to do practical. I'll explain about theory. So iceberg. So iceberg tables in Snowflake. Okay. So these tables we need to write on the on the data lake. So what is data lake in our workflow?
The central repository is used to the raw data to store semi-structured structure and structured data as in like S3 videos, files, audio files, JPEG formats. These are all the files you can store.
S3 is a AWS 3 is the
S3 is data.
S3 is our data lake, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This one.
Okay.
So you know, right? We have Apache, okay, Apache Airflow, okay, like it going to work on like Spark, okay, Flink, okay, some other, okay, some other things. It is okay. It's going to read the data, okay, from that one. It's going to support on external tables from the external table. Going to write external table. Suppose there is like we have data lakehouse architecture, right? So in that scenario, we going to use these. Okay, so it's going to use for the schema evolution and partition coding. So for the external files. So when we are working with any other data lakes, so we can integrate with this one. Okay, so it is independence from the Snowflake. Okay, but this going to store in the Snowflake only. Okay, but like systems, it's going to store in the S3. So completely. So where we have Snowflake complete architecture we have in the cloud, right? In AWS S3 cloud, like that. Okay. So you will how we going to create this one. So create like you know we are creating external table, right? Like create external table. Okay. So my iceberg table. So my iceberg table. Then here we mention catalog. Okay. So here iceberg catalog. Okay. So then we need to mention the location. So on the which data from on which lake house from on which URL we are writing this iceberg table. Just you need to put the S3 URL location. So when we create in the storage integration, we use S3 URL, right? Storage integration, and in the when we create in the stage also we use this one. Okay, so on that we need to apply. Okay, this is a very new feature. So just I have not worked with Iceberg tables, but just have knowledge. Okay, with next just I know about Iceberg table. Tell like that only. Don't tell I have implemented in my project because of new feature, right? That's one. So maybe we have different CSV, Parquet, JSON, right? Okay, I'm giving. So Parquet file format. Okay. So Parquet file format. This is how to create Iceberg table. Okay. This one. So this is syntax of okay. We need to mention location and file format. Okay. So when we are loading data is to Snowflake in that time. So you can create in that time you have AR and URL everything right. Okay. So try with when you have loading data. Okay. So after that, what we do? So next, this is first we need to create this one. So after that, we need to create. Okay. So iceberg table. So iceberg table. So my manage table. Table. So here I'm giving selecting ID, int. Okay. So next name string created it. So in real time, we're going to use created it, updated it columns. Okay, when we're loading data. So these are mandatory. So 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 this is we have create as per table, manage as per table ID to name, created it, date. Okay. So first we need to create that one external table. Then after that we need to create the iceberg table. Okay. So for we going to use this for okay. So where we going to use this one? So when we have data in the when we going to work with data lakehouse, so we're going to create the iceberg table. Okay, so just try with when you are loading data, so you will get one idea. Okay, so don't go with very high with iceberg tables in real time. Just go with normal. Okay, I know about iceberg table. I have not implemented in project. Okay, so but go with the dynamic tables. I have implemented the dynamic table. These are new features, right? So don't go with in depth. Right? So this is Java. So these are topics. So just I'm covering because of you to have knowledge. Okay, you need to upskill every time. Okay, these are expert tables. Okay, so region with the same link. Okay, we will go with giants. Okay, same link region.